Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Love, Light, and Life Affirmed, your daily affirmations for self love and growth. This is the channel, just as a reminder, where we talk about real life situations. I give you a little bit of advice, give you some wisdom, just to try to address the situation that you may be dealing with, whether that is just with yourself or with other people. Okay. So, today, collective, this is going to be a reading regarding the person that's on your mind. What we're going to do is just figure out what's the news on them at this time. What are they dealing with? What situations are you in with them currently or were in with them? And let's just kind of see, what we can find out here. Welcome back, all of my current followers and subscribers. How you guys? Welcome back into the channel. Thank you so much for being here with me again. I always love to have you. All of the incoming followers and subscribers, welcome in, you guys. Hopefully, you find the messages useful and maybe gives you a little bit of clarity and a little bit of wisdom with the advice that I'm going to give you at the end. Okay. So, the person on your mind, what are they dealing with right now? What situations did they find or have you in? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Somebody's dealing with a repo situation, default on payments, financially incapable, repossessed assets. Wow. And whoever this is, now they're looking to try to cleanse their energy. They are trying to detox, getting rid of negativity and purification. So, whoever this is that is on your mind, that they are going through a tough time financially right now, maybe their behavior was not of the highest vibration. And so now they are going through consequences with their finances and they are struggling at this time. Interesting. Looks like a repo on a home here in this picture. So maybe their house is in the middle of going through a foreclosure soon. Interesting. Okay. Then we have swept up, head over heels, fallen in love, intense emotions. So yeah, this is somebody who you were head over heels in love with in the past or currently. This is somebody who you looked at as wanting to have a long term situation with. You were excited about this particular individual, either when you were dealing with them or if you are currently, yeah, you looked at them as, definitely somebody that you wanted to be connected with. You wanted to have an official status with, an exclusive relationship with. You wanted to be able to see each other openly, that maybe that was not something you were able to do with this particular person. Yeah, you were looking for a Bonnie and Clyde situation. You were looking for your ride or die, us against the world. Okay, hey Tupac, love you. And you wanted a dedicated partnership with this individual. Interesting. Well, what happened? What's what's happening in this situation? What went on here? Doing too much excessive overindulging. Yeah, they were overindulging. So maybe they were a type of individual that wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted pretty much anybody that would give them some attention. And it kind of hurt your heart to know that they were not maybe as into you as you thought. So maybe they weren't looking for a Bonnie and Clyde situation. Maybe, you were the only one that had this idea of being together, something long term, in your brain. Yeah, brick wall. You were dealing with somebody who basically was hard to reach, was hard to talk to. They were very guarded. They basically did not open up to you. They did not really tell you anything about how they were feeling emotionally. You were constantly trying to guess how they were feeling, what they were doing. Yeah, they were very guarded. Let's see. Why is that? black sheep rebelling, going against expectations, defying norms. Yeah, this would have been a situation if you guys would have ended up being together where people would not have understood or agreed or just been able to support, a relationship between the two of you. It would have been something out of the norm, and maybe what that's why this person really couldn't see you um, in that long-term relationship status. They couldn't see, yeah, they were in a single ready to mingle mindset, um, and maybe they were looking for a type of relationship that didn't require commitment. They were constantly on a hunt looking for other people, while you were expecting you guys to again be in this Bonnie and Clyde, type of energy, with each other. And you were looking to have something exclusive. um, they had you in this honeymooning, mindset. We had love on the brain. You wanted to talk to them all the time. You wanted to feel all these feels, but again, they weren't on that same page with you. Yeah, they were doing a whole lot out here. Dramatic, trying too hard, starter. Yeah, they were clout chasing. They were trying to, get attention from whoever would give it to them. And again, that's not really an exclusive type of energy. That's not the energy that, you were looking for. Yeah, and now they're in the blues because again, obviously they're going through some hardships with their finances with this repo card out here, dealing with bigger issues. They're scared, they're in their emotions, they're in mental distress at this time. Maybe you've walked away from this person. Let's see. Lift off, fast action, progression forward. The wait is over. Yeah, you got tired of waiting. Exactly what I was just saying. You got tired of waiting for this person to acknowledge you, to, you know, turn your situation with them into something other than just, you guys kicking it every once in a while. But it seems like that never happened until you got tired of waiting. Yeah, you fed up. Yes, you got tired of waiting. You got fed up with it. You said, you know what? Okay, well, this is not where I need to be anymore. So I'm going to move on. You were over it. You were frustrated. You were absolutely frustrated with the situation. And you said, okay, enough is enough. I'm tired of putting myself on the clearance rack and, nobody investing here. Yeah, but they love bombed you. So this is where all of your feelings came from. They were overly attentive to you in the beginning. They showered you with affections, but it was for their personal gain. It was because they liked the attention that you gave them, and they did whatever they needed to do in order to get that attention from other people. But apparently, it seems like maybe this is something that is catching up to them um, here, in the recent times. Let's see, what else? What else? Reading up, doing the research, learning more, gaining insight. Yeah, now that you have been away from this individual, now they're basically looking you up. They're trying to figure out what you got going on, what has happened in your life, especially again, if this person is going through financial tough time right now. They're basically looking you up, seeing you thrive. They're trying to figure out if you are dealing with anybody else, because obviously this person, didn't choose you to be that person in their life. So now they're trying to see, if you're dating anybody, if you're talking to anybody, maybe they've been hearing that you got good things going on, spilling the beans, revealing secrets, cats out of the bag, untrustworthy. Yeah, this person has been exposed for being extra. This person was exposed recently. Yeah, and maybe that's why they're trying to look you up. They're trying to see if you found out all the things that they basically are going through, if you've heard, all the secrets that have come out about them. in the recent. Yeah, now this person, because of they're in the blues with these heavy emotions and mental distress, now they want to come in and have a heart to heart conversation, intimate discussion, blunt and honest. They want to have a heart to heart conversation with you now, collective. I mean, whether they're trying to actually come in and tell the truth or not is a different story, because it seems like this person, like we said, was a brick wall. Wow. So here's some of the secrets. So maybe they have some fetishes that you weren't aware of, collective. They are trying to keep under wraps. This person was into fetishes and fantasies that maybe you didn't know they were open to explore. So who knows what that all could mean. But yeah, they were a player from the Himalayas. So they dealt with multiple people. They had a lot going on. They were playing the field. They were not looking to settle. Like we said, they were always looking for options, but they love bombed you. Basically, that put you in a situation of falling in love with them and, having this hope for, this long term situation. But now the evidence is out, the secrets are out, of this person that obviously had situations, was constantly caught cheating, and they betrayed you. They betrayed you. They were not, a good friend to you. There was no Bonnie and Clyde situation as they made it seem or made you feel like anyway. We have to always make sure to be accountable, for our own thoughts and feelings as well, right, collective? But in this situation, this is an individual, again, who was constantly looking for attention, and it didn't matter where it came from. They had a lot of secrets, apparently. But again, now that this person is in a situation where they're having a hard time, their secrets are being exposed, apparently, for them being in this player energy all the time. Now they're looking you up because they want to come back and have this heart to heart conversation with you. Interesting. I mean, and again, whether that's going to be an honest conversation, I don't know, but I think you gained a lot of insight and wisdom after dealing with this person, where you would be able to discern whether or not, they were being honest with you if they were to come back, if you were to allow them back, to even have a conversation with you. Because some of you guys just may be over it after the things that you found out. You may not even have anything else to say to this person. Yeah. Sneaky link, hidden lover, low key, situationship, side piece. Yeah. That's exactly what you found out you were to them. And I think that was, you know, enough for you to realize that you were not valuable to them. You were never going to grow with them in the situation. And it was, time for you to walk away and let it go, basically. It was time for you to, just realize that you were not going to gain anything from this situation, from this individual that you were hoping. And I'm sure that your heart was broken, you know, but at the end of the day, at least you are now aware of what you were dealing with, because like I said, obviously this person is going through some situations right now at this time in their lives. Let me get you some money messages here before I close this out. Let's see how you guys are doing right now since you've walked away from this situation that was obviously pretty messy. It definitely didn't end up being wish fulfillment for you, and maybe again, with this cleanse card, maybe this person is trying to figure out how to get themselves out of all of this mess as well. But I mean, it looked like it had a lot going on and a lot going on for a long while here. But it seems like maybe it's catching up to them. Let me get you some advice here. So this says, so I could be talking to somebody who is a student, Work with a mentor to acquire new skills or learn how to implement your plans. You could be pursuing higher education or working for a school district. So I could be talking to a teacher as well. Learn to manage money yourself or hire a financial advisor for help. So, um, if you are in a situation where you're trying to learn more about dealing with your finances, maybe you're going back to school to get into finances, maybe that's the type of career that you want. But it looks like you have some growth coming. Expect a good flow of money, a raise, or a new job offer. So the skills that you are going to school to learn, basically it seems like it's going to help you to get into a job or position that you are interested in, which will bring in a good flow of money and a new job offer here. To grow, it's essential to unlearn since rules are constantly evolving. And then you're delaying your growth. The process of healing is worth the effort. So make sure that, as you are learning, as you are evolving, you are flexible in how you see, your finances, how you see your, career and things like that going. Then it says peacemaker. You're being urged to apply diplomacy and tact in a difficult situation. So if this person comes back and they want to have a heart to heart, I would say, definitely hear them out. Don't approach it in a negative energy. You have moved past this situation, and unfortunately, they are just starting to figure things out. But you're being urged to, just be tact. And then also regarding your career, consider careers in politics, negotiations, unions, contracts, or peacemaking. And then you want to adopt a win win attitude when negotiating business deals, so you guys are going to be in a position to be able to negotiate. But I'm talking to, a group of you who would be good, it looks like, in careers regarding politics, negotiations, unions, contracts, peacemaking, things like that. And then we have business. Do not be intimidated to enter the world of business. You got this. Yeah, think about executive roles like becoming a CEO or anything in the corporate sector. Raise your awareness and think bigger if you want different outcomes. Yeah, so right now, you guys are, looks like going to school. And, again, you should have a career definitely in the business sector, or this is something you should move towards because it seems like you would be really good at it. Maybe you're good with paperwork. Maybe you're good, with talking and negotiations. And then we have writer. Words are powerful. Use them to manifest more abundance. Consider careers like blogger, content writer, or book author and creative writing. Your words have the power to influence and share your gifts with the world. So, for a group of you guys are really good with writing, using your words, expressing yourself. So this is going to be a career for some of you guys coming up here. Also, with you being in this writer type of role or career, this seems to be where your abundance will lie. Okay, very good. Very good, very good. Okay, let me see. Can I get you a little bit more advice here before I close out? But yeah, unfortunately, the person that you were dealing with seems like in your past, because it seems like you are moving towards focusing on your career, trying to grow your money, trying to decide, what's going to be wish fulfillment in the, you know, financial sector for you. And if you can stay focused on that and, get into that flow, it looks like you have a really good flow, of abundance that'll come in for you. Let me get you some advice. Let me get you some advice. Let me get you a few. Okay. Peaks reached. Celebrate your achievements and savor the triumph of your ascent. For you've climbed high and learned and earned your view. So, yeah, I mean, you guys have definitely grown from this situation dealing with this individual. You should be proud of yourself. You have evolved. You have began to now focus back on yourself, and you are headed towards, you know, your prosperity at this time. So keep going. Be proud of yourself because it is an achievement. And what else? Dreamweaver. Dreaming and imagining bring your powerful vision into reality. Yes. So definitely stay focused on what it is that you want at this time. Make sure that, your mind is steady in a higher vibration. And whenever you have thoughts, make sure the thoughts are positive. Make sure your thoughts are geared towards the things that you are trying to bring into your life. Stay focused on that. Um, in order to make sure that your actions, continue to mimic, your vision. See what's real. Observe with clarity. True insight lies beyond the surface. Yeah, you started to see this person very clearly. And again, this is what took you on a new trajectory and two, more focusing on yourself. And it's a good thing because it looks like, you got out of this situation before things got messy, before, things started to come out. You were nowhere around when all of the mess started to happen. And it allowed you to go on a different trajectory into focusing yourself. You became a student, you figured out what it is that you wanted to do, you started to move towards growth, and basically focusing on what your career goals are, which is going to bring you a level of abundance here, as it seems. Very good. Very good, collective. Okay. Well, that was the news. That was what's going on with you and the person on your mind. If the message did resonate, please hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe. But until next time, you guys, bye.